know that baptism cannot save us, but it's a beautiful symbol of our union with Christ as we die with him and go down into that watery grave, dying to both the power of sin and the penalty of sin. Both have been taken care of, and that's symbolized as we go down into the waters of baptism and we come up, that resurrection power of Jesus to give us newness of life, that we might walk in newness of life. And that's what Corey and that's what Megan are going to be testifying to this morning. So let's welcome them as they come down. Corey, why don't you come down, and Megan, come on down.
Hello, church family. My story is like a lot of yours. Raised in the Catholic Church, 8 a.m. service every Sunday morning, Catholic school up until high school. I grew up in a family that knew God and spoke of him often. As a child, I also knew God, but somewhere along the way, I lost my relationship with him. When my parents, Lee and Kim Mahoney, found Covenant Fellowship, they wanted so badly for me to experience this with them, to get back to God. But my pride would not let me. I had pushed so far away from him that I was certain I would never look back. Fast forward to about 2 years ago, when my husband and I started dating. We talked about God often and how we wanted more of him in our lives. We knew that we had a strong relationship together, but that he was missing. God showed himself to me the day we found out that I was pregnant. It was at that moment that I knew I didn't want to keep talking about getting back to the church and God. I wanted to do it. It was at that moment that my pride was wiped away and I humbled myself. I wanted to know God again. I wanted to restore my relationship with him. And I wanted to raise our daughter to know God and trust in him. Singer Josh Thompson says it best. Because I'm a sinner, that's just what I am. Sometimes the devil can get the upper hand, but I hit my knees, close my eyes, and bow my head and thank the good Lord that when it comes to forgiveness, he's no quitter, because I'm a sinner. I'm a sinner who has given her life to God. And I know that with him by my side, my sins are forgiven and I am saved.
Megan, according to your profession of faith, I now baptize you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Hello, church. Growing up, I always considered myself a believer in God, but truthfully, I never really understood what that meant outside of checking in on a few Sundays a year and just believing in a higher power. I grew up selfishly and only spoke to God when I needed him. When things went wrong, I begged for mercy, but when things were going right, I did not see the need to reach out. Before meeting my wife, I thought I was living a great life. Good job, nice car, nice house. As Megan mentioned, we started dating and we talked about God often. Nobody forced it on us. He was just always coming up in conversation. The Holy Spirit was at work in our relationship, and I started asking questions about her parents and their involvement in the church. I wanted God in my life, but church was not for me at the time. Finally, one day, my father-in-law, Lee, asked me to attend the bridge course. Looking back now, saying yes that day, out back at the Saracens was one of the best decisions I ever made in my life. Not just for myself, but for my family's entire future. I had no idea that simple yes would change the course of my life. Megan's life, my daughter's future children's lives, and hopefully some friends I am able to help for years to come. During the bridge course, I peppered Jim with questions that were buried inside of me my entire life, but I was too afraid to ask in CCD because They were second grade questions, or I should have been paying better attention at church. I asked questions in our group, and week by week my questions were answered, and I realized how much I had in common with everyone there. I always left feeling amazing and that much closer to the Lord. So if you can't tell, I highly recommend the bridge course. It was during church in December 2020 when I was hit with an incredible wave of emotion the second I walked in the door and heard the singing. I understand not everyone has this moment, but mine sure was special. Megan was pregnant with our daughter Sophie, so I was not allowed to be the emotional one at that time, but but it was hard for me to fight back those tears of joy. From that day on, I made a conscious effort to put God first in everything I do. Yes, I have bad days, and yes, I sin, but I talk to God every single day. I'm a better man because of him, and I know my family will live a better life. Because we are choosing to walk the rest of our lives following Christ. Yes, we still have a lot of work to do, but every day I get stronger in the Lord. I want to be baptized today to declare publicly that I have repented of my sins and believed in Jesus alone for forgiveness. I am saved.
Well, Corey, according to your profession of faith, I now baptize you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.